So if you've seen the show Shark Tank, it's a reality show sort of based around venture capital where people bring in ideas for companies or even companies that are already up and running and try to pitch them to the judges, to the sharks. And so we have three sharks here today. Ralph Baxter, who we all know is the chair of the Legal Executive Institute. Dr. Ron Dolan, who's a senior research fellow at Harvard Law School, and Bill Henderson, who's and Sanjay was caught in the hurricane. So replacing Sanjay today is Bill Henderson, who will be playing Sanjay today due to the hurricane, and we wish him well. So I'm going to introduce each of the representatives of each of the companies, and they're going to present here in the middle using the hand mics. Each company is going to have 10 minutes. That's going to be divided between an elevator pitch of about 4 minutes and then 6 minutes with engagement with the judges. Okay, our next company, our next presenter is Daniel Lewis, who's the co-founder and chief executive officer of Ravel Law. Take it away.
Thanks, Dan. So Ravel is a legal research and analytics company, and if you boiled it down to exactly what we're trying to do, it's help lawyers win more cases and make more money, which sounds pretty good. So we're a leader in this new field of AI-based analytics for litigators, which means we're leveraging machine learning to take case law and turn it into something more structured and more data-driven. And what that lets people do is have a better sense of what things are important as they sift through millions of documents, why they're important, and a data-driven perspective on how to use them most effectively. So our first product was called Judge Analytics. We launched it middle of last year. This year, it won the American Association of Law Libraries Best Product of the Year award. And using the same data science that we created to build Judge Analytics, we have several more products in the pipeline that are going to be equally sort of innovative and granular in offering new insights about what's important in the legal information space. We've formed an exclusive partnership with Harvard Law School to digitize their comprehensive collection of case law, which includes every federal court decision, every state court decision, going back to the very earliest ones, even before the Constitution. So that's the data that powers our system, giving us a comprehensive look at the American legal information space over the last 200 years, and it's what informs our machine learning. So we get to cull from tens of millions of cases to draw our insights. We have customers at 17 of the top 200 firms, 20 plus law schools, and tens of thousands of professional users. We started about 4 years ago. I'm a graduate of Stanford Law School, and my co-founder was a classmate. And we launched out of Stanford. Since then, we've raised 2 venture capital rounds, led by one of the best firms in the world, NEA. So from our customer base, we've really focused on big firms that do a lot of litigation, AmLaw 400, AmLaw 500. 1 in 3 of the AmLaw 20 are now customers, and these are some of the schools that are purchased us and teaching us in their classrooms. So what we do when a case comes into our system, a Supreme Court case or a California state court decision, is we process it with machine learning using an approach where we have a team of lawyers working hand in hand with data scientists to create algorithms that can identify, extract, and classify information. So a case comes in, and this is kind of a representation of what it looks like to our systems, where we're identifying the judge that wrote it, cases involved, citations to documents, the parties involved. We're classifying the topics that it includes, what motions it deals with, things like that. And then we turn that into graphical displays, so visual search, Judge Analytics. This is, for example, what Judge Analytics looks like. So it creates a dashboard for any federal judge, all the way down to the district court level, magistrates, bankruptcy courts, and it also includes all 50 state appellate judges. And it brings together a judge's decisions in one place where you can then sift through them and use our technology to spot patterns. So you could narrow down a judge's work to just find decisions where they ruled on a motion to dismiss or a motion for certification, dealing with products liability or antitrust. And not only will that save you time in culling through hundreds or thousands of decisions, but then we can spot patterns in how they've ruled. So we'll be able to tell you the cases that they've found most important in the past, or the other judges that they've relied on. And we can narrow it down to specific sentences that they've reused again and again. So attorneys come into Ravel to use the dashboard, identify how a judge has ruled on motions or topics before, and then identify the key language that they can insert into their brief that the judge has seen before and will resonate, or to highlight, say, a multi-factor test and identify the factor in the test that the judge may spend the most time considering. This is one of our other products. It's a visual search tool. So when you run a search in Ravel, you get a traditional list of cases, but you also get this visual map. And what the map does is highlight the most important decisions, as well as highlight the connections to the district court case that came out last week. So through this visual approach, kind of like an infographic in the New York Times, people are coming in, identifying landmark decisions, uncovering the needles in the haystack, and along the way, feeling very confident that they started research in the right place and can confidently stop because they know where to end.
Take about 30 more seconds, Dan, if you can.
Sure. So this is one of the quotes of how we're changing legal practice. I think the key word is giving people a competitive edge. But there's another piece here, too, which I want to highlight, which is saving people money. So our research indicates that this can save a firm about $10,000 a year per litigator just on judge research alone. This is a usage report that a firm shared with us recently showing since they launched Ravel in May, how the usage has grown and the corresponding decrease in their spending and sort of their list price spending for one of the major research systems, Lexis or West. That's the one highlighted. So you can see that year over year, their August bill for one of these systems went from a list price of $520,000 to, after rolling out Ravel, $388,000, which meant that on paper they're saving about $130,000 by using our research system just in that 1 month.
That's great, Dan. All right, passing it over to the Sharks.
Okay, so let's be clear. Let's be real here. There's Lexis, there's West, and then there's you. Are you a complete substitute to those two? Because we've got a lot of people that are fixated on they do everything in West and they do everything in Lexis. And so are you claiming to be a substitute for that? Because then you're going to have to change behavior.
The firms that bring us on are bringing us on in addition to having those systems.
So you're an extra cost.
Yeah, we are an extra cost, but they're bringing us on for both of those reasons I highlighted. It's giving them an edge of information they can't find elsewhere.
Okay, so are we finding out you bring it in here and who actually logs into Ravel? I predict that it's people under 30.
It generally is. The judge research is something that partners are finding themselves able to do more and more. But the core research on any kind of platform is done by younger associates.
Are the courts using it?
We haven't systematically rolled it out, but we give it away for free.
It would be embarrassing not to use this in a court, for a judge not to look at this when they're making a decision.
Yeah,
they have to use this.
A lot of the insights off of the experience of clerks, and so we want it to be out there and make it available.
Yeah, you know the judge analytics will be eye-opening to the judges themselves. Right? Oh, is that really what I decided?
You have a baseball card you're making for them, aren't you?
Yeah, right. So what's the economic model here for the law firm? So the law firm does it the traditional way. It assigns human beings, go look it up, read all the cases, see what you think, and give me a report. And now we can go to Ravel Law and follow the map and pick a few cases. What's the impact on the law firm?
Yeah, so it's not designed to be a black box system where it's just going to spit out an answer. Instead, it's designed to take a smart human, an associate who's being paid a lot of money, but spending 30% of their time doing research, and help them do that research faster, better, more confidently, and take a project that could be 10 hours on a conventional tool and do it in 6 hours.
Then I got to sell four more hours.
Well, they're not billing for those hours in the first place.
Okay.
What firms are
sure?
increasingly seeing, I think, is that they're having to write off a lot of research time. And so it's becoming one of these expenses that's less billable, which means that the more that they can move associate time to the analysis, the writing, the crafting, it's going to be more profitable.
So how hard is that pitch to make? You were asked earlier about point of contact when you get into the, or almost asked about point of contact when you go into the law firm. So you just made a point. I happen to know you're right. How do you persuade the law firms that that's right?
I don't have to persuade them on that. I think they get persuaded by the competitive edge piece more often. So you'll have a partner that says, man, if we find a case or two cases using this system that we hadn't found in a traditional tool, the tool pays for itself. And we haven't even told them the price at that point. There's it doesn't matter what it costs if we're getting a competitive edge.
So any evidence that it's in, I mean, have you brought it into law schools yet? Because I can imagine if I had been in law school and we had civil procedure and I had seen some of the cases in civil procedure, it would have been, the sea would have parted. It would have been so much better.
Yeah, so we have students using us at all 200 law schools.
What about law professors in classes?
Yeah, so we're being taught in 50-plus schools, I think in research and writing in particular, but maybe in some procedural courses too.
Ron Dolan wants to get in. Ron, it's the
I'm
Shark
not gonna
Tank,
fight
not the
these guys.
Guppy
They're too
Tank.
good.
You need to get in there now.
Are there any documents that you think your customers want that are not included in what you're giving them?
So some firms have asked us to start applying this technology to their internal documents too. So their internal briefs and memos and things like that.
I mean, docket material that's filed or
There's always
non-reported cases.
Yeah,
anything.
there's always information that we get asked to expand to, whether it's NLRB decisions, ITC, PTAB, dockets. There's a long list of things to expand this into, I think.
What would it take for them to give up what they're using now and just use you so that you can charge more?
I think the core of most research that's done today, say 80% of it, is on primary legal research of case law and statutes. So over time, I think what you're going to see in the legal research space is an unbundling of all of these different products.
Are you building an API to the back end?
We are. So one of the exciting things about this partnership with Harvard is we're going to have a comprehensive set of case law, which means that we want to make it available to other folks to use so that we can create sort of the first ecosystem of access to American case law.
Okay, we got about 10 seconds. Any
I
final
think it's pretty
points?
clear who the buyers are going to be. Just there's going to be one or two, maybe three buyers of your.
The investors want to know who the acquirers are going to be
Who the inquirers are going to be?
of the company.
The acquirers? Well, I think that this would be a really good addition for Thomson Reuters.
Yeah, I mean, we are at the Thomson Reuters event. Thank you very much. Dan Lewis, Ravel Law, everyone.